Welcome back, students, to the degree second year third semester class. So we have completed the poem Life, A Wrong Man in Worthless Paradise, and the other day we happened to do Punishment in Kindergarten by Kamla Das also. Now we'll start the second lesson in prose titled Toasted English. The title of the lesson is Toasted English. So you must be feeling that it's a peculiar, unusual kind of title. You know what? English is a language. Toasted English in the sense how English is being decorative kind of language is being used. What are the different kinds of accents and different ways of using the English language across the world? That is what the writer here wants to say. So it's written by R.K. Narayan, our own Indian writer, famous Indian English writer, R.K. Narayan. So as part of the pre-reading activity, you have certain questions which are given here that will take you straight to the lesson. What do you usually toast? So you usually toast the bread or some other kind of eatables, is it not? So it is asking you, what do you usually toast? The correct. What is toasting? What actually do you mean by toasting? To bring more aroma, to bring the kind of good look, to bring to make it very attractive. What happens to a slice of bread when you toast it? So when you toast a slice of bread, naturally it becomes tasty. The toasted bread is obviously tasty, and at the same time, it looks better to have. How is toasting different from roasting? How is toasting different from roasting? So when you roast something, you can't eat it. It becomes black and it will totally change. Whereas when you toast it, it is very, very good. How many words can you think of that rhyme with a toast? So what are other words that you can think of that rhyme with a toast? Toast, roast and such other words. What is proposing a toast? What do you mean by proposing a toast? That is when you start trying to see that the person is convinced or something like that, then you say proposing a toast. What does it mean when someone is called the toast of? So when somebody is called the toast of something, it means that they are kind of center of attraction. What does a toastmaster do? What does a toastmaster do? A person who toasts does. What is a Toastmasters Club? What do you mean by a Toastmasters Club? Wherein all the Toastmasters are there. Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayanaswamy, better known as R.K. Narayan, was born in the year 1906 and passed away in the year 2001. He is one of India's finest writers in English. We know that Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayanaswamy. His full name is Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayanaswamy, R.K. Narayan. He is popularly known as R.K. Narayan. And he was born in the year 1906 and he passed away in the year 2001. He is one of India's finest writers in English. We find few writers who write exceptionally well in India in English, and he is one of the finest writers. A prolific writer, Narayan published nearly 60 books in his writing career spanning over 60 years. So his writing career spanned over 60 years and he has published almost 60 books. Besides 15 novels, he wrote numerous short stories, essays and an autobiography. So he has written 15 novels altogether, 1-5. He wrote numerous short stories and he is very, very, very famous for the short stories. Essays and an autobiography. Essays and an autobiography. He has written some essays as well as his own story, the autobiography. Most of his stories are set in Malgudi, a fictional semi-urban South Indian town that he created. You must be knowing the serial file called as Malgudi Days that was telecast on television some years back, some 20-25 years back, I think. Malgudi Days. So Malgudi is one of the fictional towns that's created by R.K. Narayan. Malgudi is a fictional town, imaginary town created by the writer R.K. Narayan. It doesn't exist, but it's only an imaginary town. used for the convenience of the writer. It's a semi-urban South Indian town. It's not a totally rural one or totally urban one. His writing is characterized by genial humor, gentle irony, and compassionate realism. His writing is always characterized by genial humor, very humorous, very funny, gentle irony, very gentle kind of irony, and compassionate realism. Very compassionate, very compassionate. That is one who has pity, shows compassion, compassionate realism. Some of his novels, Swami and Friends, Mr. Sampath, The Financial Expert, The Guide, The Matter of Speech, these are some of his novels, famous novels. Swami and Friends, this well-known novel, Mr. Sampath, The Financial Expert, The Guide, The Matter of Speech. The Financial Expert is also has also been made into a movie in Canada, and you have The Guide, a movie in Hindi. It has been taken as a movie in Hindi, and we have The Matter of Speech. And short stories have been adapted into films and television series. The short stories have become so famous that they became part of curriculum for school students, and they have been adapted into films as well as television series. Narayan received numerous awards and honors, including the Sahitya Academy Award. So he has received innumerable honors and awards, including the Sahitya Academy Award, Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan. So he got the reputed Sahitya Academy Award, Padma Bhushan Award, and also the Padma Vibhushan Award. So you can understand the worth of this person. He was nominated to the Rajya Sabha in 1989, and his tenure in the upper house is best remembered for his fervent appeal to make the school bag lighter and restore to children the joys of childhood. Now, for his popularity, he was nominated to the Rajya Sabha in the year 1989. And his tenure in the upper house, his tenure in the Rajya Sabha upper house is best remembered for his fervent appeal, for his strong appeal to make the school bag lighter. He wanted to make the school bag lighter for the little school children and restore to children the joys of childhood. So he always very strongly appealed that let us not make the childhood, let us not deprive the childhood from the children. Let us not deprive the childhood from them, and let us make their bags lighter. So their bags should not be heavy, but they should be lighter. So that was his strong appeal when he was in the Rajya Sabha. Toasted English is taken from Narayan's collection of essays titled The Reluctant Guru. Now, the essay that you have here, it has been taken from one of R.K. Narayan's, one of his collection of essays titled Reluctant Guru, which was written in 1974. In this essay, Narayan records some of his impressions of America during his stint as a visiting professor at an American university in 1969. In the year 1969, he happened to visit America, the US. And during his stint as a visiting professor there, he happened to have certain impressions of America. What are his recorded impressions of America? That is what is being told here in the Toasted English. He notices how Americans have adopted the English language to suit their needs. So R.K. Narayan says, Americans haven't taken the English as it is, but they have adopted that to suit their needs. And how, as a result, American English is different from its British counterpart. So that is why we see that there is a lot of difference between the American English as well as the British English. So we can see lots of difference in the pronunciation. You can observe the way the American president speaks and the way the British president speaks. You can understand the difference very easily. The way they pronounce is different. And we Indians follow the received pronunciation, that is the British accent. We have been ruled by the Britishers and we are influenced by them. So we follow the British accent, British English, whereas the American English is a bit different. He concludes the essay by underlining a similar need to evolve a form of Indian English that respects the norms of the language and yet responds to our cultural context. So now taking America as an example, Arkan Narayan wants Indians also to evolve a form of Indian English. He wants to evolve our own innate Indian English that respects the norms of the language, the rules of the language, and yet responds to our cultural context. It should not deviate from the rules of the language, and at the same time, it should respond to our cultural context. It should have the cultural context to remain the same way. That is, we should not lose our Indianness in the adaptation of the English language. So now let us see the lesson. Start the lesson, the toasted English. It's titled as Toasted English by R.K. Narayan. So let us see how he is putting the title as Toasted English. What does it mean when we are toasting a language? In the American restaurants, they call for toasted English, referring to English muffins, which, though being made in America, now retain English as a sort of concession to their origin. So in the restaurants of America, they keep saying toasted English in the sense that it has to have a sort of concession for them because it is their own kind of evolved English. The same may be said of their language too. So what they say about the English muffins, the same may be said about the language too. Americans too went through a phase of throwing out the British, but retaining their language and letting it flourish on American soil. The resultant language is somewhat different from its British counterpart. It may be said to have gone through a process of toasting. So just as Indians, even Americans happen to uh, see that the Britishers leave their country, but they threw out the Britishers, but they retained their language and let it flourish on American soil. But the resultant language is somewhat different from that of the British English, and it has gone through a process of toasting. One noticeable result of this toasting is that much of the formalism surrounding the use of English has been abandoned. So here toasting doesn't mean it has been made more decorative or more ornamental, but such kind of formalism has been removed in American English. The kind of formalism that is there in the British English that has been removed for their own convenience by the Britishers. In America, they have freed the language from the stifling tyranny of the passive voice. So you know what is the active voice and what is the passive voice? The direct statements in the which show the person doing the work and what the work that is being done. That is called as active voice. He is giving you the pen. That is active voice. The pen is being given by him. That is passive voice. A kind of legalized language. So here the stifling tyranny of the passive voice. Americans have freed themselves from the stifling tyranny of the British passive voice, where we would say ceremoniously trespassing prohibited. Their signboards, as I noticed in the parks of Berkeley, merely say newly planted, don't walk. So the Britishers say trespassing is prohibited. They say in passive voice, who, what, and all, they do not say. Whereas Americans simply say, as if they are speaking to somebody, they say newly planted, don't walk. So they simply say they are newly planted and you should not walk. Or absolutely no parking, leaves no room for speculation. Or they'll directly say absolutely no parking. That will not leave any kind of speculation. And no motorists need spend too much time peering out and studying the notice. So nobody needs to just stand there and then go on studying that, what it means. So the notice is very obvious when they write in American English. In a similar situation, our authorities are likely to plant a 20-line inscription on the landscape to say, under Municipal Act so and so, this area has been reserved, etc., etc. And any vehicle stationed thereon will be deemed to have contravened subscription so and so for the Motor Vehicles Act, etc., etc. So instead of saying that it has been prohibited to park here, they keep saying according to this and that, according to this and that, according to the instructions of them, this has been done this way. And it should not be done like this according to Motor Vehicles Act. I saw on many American office doors just do not enter. So on the American office doors, they simply say in the active voice, "Do not enter," directly, as if they are speaking to somebody. They don't say a prohibited entry prohibited or something. They simply say, "Do not enter." The traffic signs at pedestrian crossings never mince words. They just say "go" or "wait." And even the traffic signs also, they will not mince any words. They will not skip any words. They'll simply say either "go" or "wait." So they'll say either "go." When they say "go," we can proceed. When they say "wait," we'll have to stop. In a Hollywood studio, I was rather startled to read Mark Stevens Keep Out. So in a Hollywood studio, they happened to put a board, Mark Stevens, a hyphen, and Keep Out. Mark Stevens is a busy television personality who did not like to be disturbed by visitors. Incidentally, it left me wondering why. If Mr. Stevens does not like interruptions, he should announce his name at all on the door. Now, Mark Stevens was one of the very famous television personalities who didn't want to be disturbed. And that is why he has put his name and then said keep out. So R.K. Narayan did not understand. Actually, why should he mention his name at all there? Mark Stevens keep out. One will get a bit confused. Should Mark Stevens keep out, or should somebody who has come to visit Mark Stevens keep out? Who should keep out actually? So Narayan says that he doesn't need to mention his name at all when he doesn't want to be disturbed. He can simply say keep out. But it is one of the mince mysteries that make travel through that country so engrossing. So they never mince any words, Americans. So that is why it makes them even more engrossing. That is very directly in a direct speech, like in an active voice, they keep saying. So they'll not mince words, and that makes so engrossing. The toasting of English has been achieved through other means also. So the toasting of English has been achieved through other means. Even in the other means also, they'll achieve the toasting. Americans have evolved certain basic keywords which may be used anywhere, anyhow, words which have a universal multi-purpose use. Now, Americans, for their own convenience, they have used certain words which can be used anytime, anywhere, for any kind of situation. So you can take that as a multi-purpose usage. I may make my point clear if I mention the example of the word check, which may safely be labeled the American national expression. So, such kind of a famous usage, the word that is used is check. They're used for everything, and it is a multi-purpose usage. It is a common kind of expression for Americans. While British usage confines it to bare dictionary definitions, the usage of Britishers it will make them use only for dictionary definitions. The American uses it anywhere, its expression being so devised that one may blindly utter it and still find that it is inappropriate for the occasion. So you can simply say that when somebody doesn't know what to say for any question or something like that, they can simply make it as a usage. They can simply use that, and it is appropriate for the occasion. That is, for any kind of occasion, that word becomes appropriate. I'll check means I'll find out, investigate, examine, scrutinize, verify, or probe. So generally, you say when somebody says you have written this wrongly, you simply say I'll check. And somebody says you have given only two notes, currency notes. They say okay, I'll simply check. So here check has a meaning: find out, investigate, examine, scrutinize, verify, or probe. These many meanings are there for the word check. Your check means your ticket, token, or whatever you may have to produce. So when somebody says, "Where is your check?" It's not exactly the bank check, but here it means your token, your ticket, or something which you need to show when somebody asks you to produce. Check room is where you leave your possessions for a while. So when you say check room, like clock room, you leave your possessions, your bags and your baggage for some time there. That is called as check room. Check girl is one who takes care of your coat, umbrella, or anything else you may leave in custody. And you have a person called as check girl, one who will take custody of your umbrella, of your coat, of anything that you leave in her custody. Check in and check out. At first, I heard it as check out and felt rather disturbed. So, check in and check out, you know very well in the you see it, see these kind of codes in the airport, check in, check out. So first I heard as check out. So he initially heard it as checkout and he felt very bad and disturbed. Refer to one's arrival in a hotel and departure there from. So it's not formally used only in the airports by the Americans, but it is used even in the hotels. Even everywhere, very often we use it. Check in and check out. Check in is arrival and check out is the departure. And there are scores of other incidental uses for the word. There are many uses for the word. So there are many such kind of usages which are appropriate in every occasion. If you are ever hand up for a noun or a verb, you may safely utter the word check and feel confident that it will fit in. So when you are searching for some noun or a verb, you didn't understand what to do, then you can simply say check and it will fit everywhere. It will fit in. Fabulous is another word that is used in that country freely without much premeditation. Now, when we say fabulous, when you say something is very good, very fine, very excellent, you say fabulous. How is this dress fabulous? How is the person looking? You say fabulous. So here, is fabulous is a word which is used used carefully. That is, when it is befitting, then only we use. We will not misrepresent the word. But the Americans use the word fabulous without much premeditation. Of course, everyone knows what fabulous means. But the American usage has enlarged its sense. So as I told you just now, everyone knows what does it mean? What does fabulous mean? But the Americans have enlarged its usage, enlarged the sense of its usage. I found a lady in Wisconsin declare, "Oh, those cats of mine are fabulous." So one of the ladies in a place, she was declaring, "Those cats of mine are fabulous. The cats are fabulous, it seems." Meaning that they were eccentric, that is abnormal, totally excited. In order to say like that, she says fabulous. Generally, we feel fabulous means excellent. But here she wants to say they are very much excited and eccentric, unusual. Oh, so and so is fabulous. When somebody says, okay, this is like that about her or about him or something like that, they simply say it's fabulous. May mean anything from a sincere compliment to an insinuation that so and so displays a mild form of charming lunacy. So generally it is a compliment here for us, Indians and Britishers. But for the Americans, it may be a sincere compliment saying so and so person or so and so thing is very fabulous. And it may be used when you doesn't know what to use and also display a mild form of charming lunacy. Lunacy is madness. When you want to express a kind of attractive kind of lunacy. Attractive kind of lunacy, like the my cat is fabulous when she says. It means that the cat is eccentric. The cat is eccentric and it is not having any such kind of only goodness, but different. So this is what he says about the American English and how the difference exists between American English as well as British English. Okay, we'll continue with what Narayan says about the English language usage that he has observed across the countries. Thank you.